Hi, my name's Ollie Brosh and this is my demonstration on how to change a wheel in the case of a puncture or any other roadside emergency. I'm going to be doing this on my car. This is my 2010 MX-5. I bought it last May. I've done a few things on it. I've installed coilovers with my dad. We've done that front grille. It's had an exhaust put on and a spoiler. Sounds amazing. I love it. Right, so back to the video. As you can see, I've got my PPE ready just to protect myself whilst working on the car. I've got my steel cap trainers. As you can see, nothing is getting to my toes there. That is to prevent in case I drop any of the tools or the car falls or the wheel, anything like that. Just protects my feet a little bit and just makes me a little extra safe. I've got these rubber nitrile gloves on, just again to protect my hands from oils, sharp bits, bruises, anything that could hurt my hands or damage them. So that's all the PPE I'm wearing, and this is personal preference. I'm wearing an all black outfit. This is what I choose to work on. This is what I wear when I work on my cars. Just means if you get them dirty, it doesn't really matter. So, as you can see, this is our set of tools down here we're going to be using today. This is the box of nitrile gloves that I'm wearing. They're cheap, but they work well. Right, so as we go down to the car, I'll talk about safety. So, as you walk past your car before you start working, you want to get in and make sure first of all that your car is handbrake on and in gear, which mine is. This is just to prevent the car rolling back in case these fail. So the handbrake clearly holds the rear wheels, prevents it rolling back when you're working on it, and again the gearbox is the same thing just in case the handbrake fails. This is a kind of third precautionary measure. These are the wheel chocks. So if we go around this side, I will put them under my wheel, as you can see, one at the back, make sure they're nice and tight up against the wheel, and another one behind this front wheel. I'm doing this way because clearly we are changing the front left, so it's just this side won't go up in the air when the other side will. Right. Once you're happy your car's not going to roll away when you start the job, you can get on to starting the job. Nice and secure. So, the tools we'll be using to take the wheels off to begin with, or the wheel, we have this very nice breaker bar. This is how you loosen the nuts on the car to begin with. We'll be using this 21mm socket. This is because my wheel nuts are 21mm wheel nuts. There you go, just slide straight on, and we'll be clearly anti-clockwise to begin with to undo the wheel nuts. And you will also need to be using a locking wheel nut. This is for your locker, and the reason the locker is there is just to prevent people stealing your wheels or making it a bit harder for them. So, I believe that is everything. Let's get going. Right, so to begin with, you want to go down to the wheel, put your locker, he says, on your wheel. There you go. That's on there. We'll start with the locker. Put your breaker bar on there, and just do that. That was quite loose, that's concerning. But that's a good job we're changing the wheel, it makes it more secure. So, as you can see, hand tight, that's just how you want it before you put it up in the air. I'll do that for the rest of them. There you go. Perfect. Right, as you can see now, they are all hand tight. I'll just double check that one needs a little bit more just before I put it up in the air. That one's hand tight, that one needs a little bit more. A little bit more still. Yeah, that's now hand tight. Again, that one needs a little bit more, just to make it easier once it's up in the air. Perfect, right, they are all now all hand tight, apart from the locker, who decides to not be. There you go, all hand tight now. Right, once all of your nuts are still on the wheel, but you can definitely undo them with your hand, you'll want to leave or put your tools back where you found them. I like to be nice and organised, so I always put them back straight away. You can put your locker away for now, but I'm just going to rest it there because we will need it later. And I'm just going to put that back there for now. Right, your next step, you're going to want these two. So, this is a jack. This is how you get the car up in the air. As you can see, this is a nice Sealy 4-ton jack, so you know it's nice and safe, and it's definitely going to hold the car and won't collapse. And this is an axle stand. This is another safety precaution. Once the car is up in the air, you just put this, well, it's called an axle stand, meant to put it on the axle, any secure surface, and you just hold it like that, holds it up in the air in case the jack falls. Alright, let's go. With my car, I will be saying, I personally won't be using the axle stand. That's because my car, as you see, is lowered and it just makes it a little bit trickier. I'm going to have to raise it very high on the jack, which adds more danger to it, makes the jack more unstable. So I won't be using this. If you have a normal car, such as that above there, as you can see, it's a bit higher. Much easier to get an axle stand under it. Just another safety precaution you should be using, but I won't be. And as it's only a small job, it should be okay. But again, normally, always be as safe as you can. Right. Get the jack by the side of the car. Again, I like using one of these mats, kind of for safety and comfort, just helps your knees a little bit, especially on a rough surface like this. What you want to do is get under the car, have a look. Every car will have different jacking points. So some will have rubber blocks that you can put them on. Some will just have a metal sill, and some will have little indents in your metal sill. That's how you know where to put it on. If you're not sure, Google it, or you could just figure out yourself. With mine, it is just metal sills. We've done it before, I can see where we've done it before. So that's where I'll be jacking it up, and actually that's lined up pretty well, luckily. So, to begin with, just wheel your jack. Stand up to it. As you can see, the clearance on mine is very close. About where you think it should be. And again, safety always comes first. So just try and get it as perfect as you can. I'm going to pull that back a little bit. That's probably too much now. Oh, it is. Go on. There you go, that is pretty much in the middle. You want to make sure that the disc on top lines up with your sill, if you've got a sill, just so the metal doesn't touch the metal and it's the rubber plaque that's on top that is doing it. Right, I'm pretty happy that that is in the right place. So, now, I'm going to start jacking. So, just do a few little pumps like that, and actually because of the height of my car I only have to do one. Again, personal preference. Once I've done that, I like to go back under the car, check that it's sitting happy on that jack, and that it's not on the edge, and that you definitely got it in the right place and it won't fall. To me that looks all good. Once you're happy with where it is, just pump the jack up slowly. Again, safety is key, so just keep checking underneath, check that jack's still happy. Do it until your wheel's fully off the floor. As you can see, mine now is. Spins nice and easily. That's how you know it's nice and off the floor and you're good to go. Like I say, that axle stand there, normally you put it under your car, but as you can see, there's not much room to get under mine, and because it's only this half the floor, should be all right, and it's not up for an extended period of time. Right, once you got to this stage, you want to come back over here. Wait, pause. Right, so as I was saying, once you've got the car up in the air, you're happy with how it is and you know it's nice and secure, you want to come back, grab your socket that you got the wheel nuts off with, and actually I will just double check whilst I remember. Now the car's moved a little bit and it's up in the air. The chocks that you put under the wheels earlier, just check they're still up against the wheel because they might have moved slightly. Check yourself with them and they're secure. Once you're happy with that, you're good to go. Grab your socket. Just remembered, I need to grab my locking wheel nut as well, don't forget that. Once you've got both of these, you want to come back over to the wheel, put your locker on, get it in, and then you'll just want to spin them off, and they should be hand tight if you follow the steps earlier. So by now, drop the nut on the floor. Our jack has a nice little nut and bolt tray, so I like putting my wheel nuts in there just so I don't lose them. I'll put the locker next to there as well. Doesn't really matter how you take them off, what order, when you're taking them off. On the way back it does, when you're putting it back on. But on the way off, take them which way you'd like. However, I would recommend leaving one nut at the top just so you can take these off so the wheel won't fall off as you're taking them off. Once you've taken that off, two more, sorry. Right, now we got one more. And just, want to have one hand slightly on the wheel there, just pushing it down on the middle of the hub. That's just to keep the wheel from pinging off or dropping, just preventing you damaging your wheel, smashing it against the brake disc or it falling into bodywork, or falling flat on its face and damaging the face of your rim. So once you've got this wheel nut out, there you go, I'll leave that in the socket. You can grab your wheel, remove it off the studs, make sure you're clear on the brakes, and then, so say you were actually changing wheel, clearly you won't be changing it to a different wheel today. You want to put your other wheel face up like that, again just to prevent damage to the face. Sorry. Whilst you're here, you may as well check your brake discs, check there's no scores, check the lips all right, and if you can, have a little look at your brake pads. Mine are all good, I've still got plenty of pad left in there, so we don't have to worry about changing that anytime soon. You can also check if you want that the disc spins freely, but it won't. Just check all your brakes are good. You can check your coilovers, your suspension, anything you want to check whilst you're here, you may as well. Right, now I've got my wheel fixed, I've got my tyre, new wheel, time to put it back on. So you want to grab it, make sure it's lined up with the studs. Line it up, mind your hands on the hub and the brakes because you can pinch them and it does hurt, I've done it before. Make sure it's nice and flat against the hub like that. And we've got a wheel nut in this socket already, so I'll put this one at the top just to hold the wheel. Just again, put them on hand tight whilst it's still in the air, it doesn't need to be crazy tight. And then once it's nipped a little bit by hand, he says, there you go, that's good, that's holding the wheel nice and secure there, it's not coming off. So then just do it with the rest of your wheel nuts. Again, it's personal preference. Some people like to put them on in a star pattern. I don't think that really matters. Only when you go to tighten them once it's on the floor, doing it in a star pattern is good. Now you got to watch me putting these all on. Go. Just do it like this. By hand is easier starting them. It also makes sure you don't cross thread the nut. That's one thing you don't want to do with wheel nuts is cross thread them for obvious reasons. Done there. last one, you got your locking wheel nut again. So just put your locking wheel nut in the locker, the socket or the key, whatever you want to call it. I'd start it by hand again, just makes it a little bit easier and a little bit safer. Once you're happy that's started by hand, put the socket on the end of the locking wheel nut key and just tighten it like the rest of the others. There you go, that's all good. And again, personal preference, I like leaving it on there, just saves you the hassle trying to put it back on once you tighten it. Once it's on the floor, right, the wheel's back on in the air, all good, got a new tyre, new wheel, whatever you needed. If you put an axle stand under the car, remove it, just check there's nothing under the car, nothing that your car's going to crush or fall on. Check it's all good. Once you're happy there's nothing under the car, you're happy to put the car on the floor. So what you want to do, just lower your jack very slowly, nice and safely, until your jack is completely down, like that. Then you want to pull it out, make sure it's out of the way. Well done, you've done the bit in the air, that's the scary bit. Now, you just need to tighten these up and you're good to go. So, leave that here, get your socket, come over here and grab this good tool, this torque wrench. Make sure your wheels are at the right torque, just helps the wheel nuts to be, as I said, at the right torque, prevents them from vibrating off or being over tightened. Just adding to the safety again. You want to make sure on your torque wrench, they'll all do it in different ways, but they'll have measurements on here, so they have newton meters and they have kilograms. I like to do it on newton meters, so you can see that set to the right torque setting in my car. You can find that in Google or the owner's manual. So, check it's going the right way to begin with, which this one is. This is tightening. As you can see, tighten on the right torque, that's all you need to check. And it's just like undoing them, but in the reversal. So I'll start with the top one, and you'll tighten it. It's on a ratchet, keep going to hear a click. Like that. Like I say, I like doing them in a star pattern. A lot of people don't care, I just think it's nicer for the wheel. There you go. That's that one done. Can't remember if I've already done this one, so I'll double check. It's always good to double check. Last one is the locker. Again, just make sure your locker's on properly before you round it off. Keep going. That one's tight. And then I just like to do a quick, just double check they're all tight. Do it in the star pattern again. Right, once you know they're all definitely the right torque, you can see all on properly, all on nicely. You're done. Now, go and put the tools back where you found them. Again, I like doing that, you don't need to. Just makes the workplace a little bit neater. Put your locking wheel nut back in the bag if you have one. Right, and then come back over to the car. And put your locking wheel nut back wherever you keep it. And then, last thing to do is remove these chocks and enjoy your driving. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully it was high quality and you learned something. Thank you.